Hey guys, HyperShadow46 here. I know it's been a while since the last What If, but you know what? It's here now, so let's just jump right back into it. What if Sonic and company were in Dragon Ball Z? Once the Dragon Balls were gathered, Raditz would be wished back to life and be met with a hug from both his daughter and his wife, with both Goku and Sonic giving him a nod of appreciation. Once the wish was done, the Dragon Balls would scatter and life would reach a time of peace. However, typical with Dragon Ball, this peace wouldn't last. While guarding the Master Emerald one night, Knuckles would sense that there was something wrong with it. When trying to figure out what was up, he would narrowly dodge out of the way of something trying to attack him. He then counterattacked what felt like water trying to lash at him. Due to it being nighttime, he couldn't quite see what he was trying to attack, but he managed to see green eyes slinking back into the darkness. That next morning, Knuckles informed Kami and they investigated the Master Emerald. To their shock, there was someone there unconscious, but still breathing. The crazy thing is, she looked to be an echidna. Acting quickly, they brought her aside and gave her a ring, but that didn't seem to do anything. Knuckles, without thinking, held his hands over her body and began to concentrate as best he could. Slowly but surely, he started to heal her. Within a few moments, she opened her eyes and looked around. At first she seemed calm, but then her expression turned to one of panic. She began rambling on about some chaos, asking where he is. Knuckles and Kami seemed confused. They asked her if she was talking about the Chaos Emeralds, which seemed to get her attention. She corrected them that Chaos was the creature she was keeping sealed in the Master Emerald, which means if she is out here, then so is he. She then introduces herself as Tikal and tells both Guardians that if they don't find Chaos, he could cause trouble for their world. Knuckles told Kami to stay there and watch over Tikal. He's gonna go get help. With that, he flew off from Angel Island and headed straight for Capsule Corp. At Capsule Corp, Silver and Shadow were sparring while Vegeta and Trunks watched the scientist monitor Silver's abilities. So far, he seems to be barely able to keep up with Shadow, though he's clearly holding back. It seems that Shadow is pushing Silver to achieve his super form, if he even has one. While training, Knuckles arrives on the scene and told everyone what was happening and to be on the lookout for what he assumed to be some weird water creature with green eyes. When inquired on what they would be dealing with, Knuckles responds that he doesn't know about this Chaos thing since it only attacked him once, but that it seemed to come from the Master Emerald, same as Tikal. He then let everyone know that he's going to find Sonic and let him know, and to let Gohan, Goku, and Raditz know of the situation as well. Elsewhere on an island near East City, Raditz and Ranch were sparring in their super forms, firing beams at each other. Launch watched both shocked and excited, but told Raditz not to hurt their daughter, earning a blush of embarrassment from Ranch. Ranch is trying to keep up and manages to catch her father with a mean right hook, only for him to then grab her tail, causing her to feel pain and her body to lock up. He then lowered to the ground and released her. Right as he was about to check on her, he pushed her to the ground as a ki blast flew right past both of them. Checking on the source of the ki blast, Raditz saw some weird creature approaching him. He told the now recovered Ranch to take her mother and get out of here. At first, she wanted to protest, but Raditz yelled for her to go while he handles whatever this thing is. Reluctantly, Ranch grabbed her mother and flew off while Raditz fired up a Saturday crash at the creature. It hit directly, but he saw the creature start to degenerate. Oh no, it was like Boo all over again. He wasted no time and powered up to Super Saiyan 2, then waited to see what this creature was going to do. The creature charged at him and began throwing punches, which surprisingly were easy to dodge and block. Raditz countered with an elbow to the face, then dashed forward, unleashing a barrage of punches, hoping that he could try to drive the creature to the water to make the getaway. The thing took blow after blow, all of its superficial damage, as it then flattened into a puddle and slithered under Raditz. He leapt into the air, but felt the creature grab his leg and pull him back down before covering his entire body. With his head now fully submerged in the thing, Raditz started to drown while struggling to get out. Just as he was about to lose consciousness, he was slammed in his back with enough force to launch him out of the creature. He slowly rose to his feet and looked around only to see his brother helping him up. Goku got in his fighting stance and powered into his Super Saiyan 2 form, with Raditz joining him. The ooze-like being looked at them both, then started rushing at them, targeting mostly Raditz. Goku, trying his best to interfere, questioned why this thing kept going for Raditz specifically. Raditz had had enough and released a full-powered double Sunday and blasted the ooze, causing it to explode in chunks. He then told Kakarot to use instant transmission so they could get out of here. Goku nodded and grabbed Raditz before instant transmitting to grab Ranch and Launch, then bring them to Capsule Corp. Once there, they would explain that Raditz was attacked by some blob thing and it seemed to only be going after him. Vegeta fills them in on Chaos and that no one knows why he seemed to be after Raditz. Elsewhere near Ocean Palace, Sonic, Amy, and Manic were enjoying the scenery and relaxing watching turtles swim in the distance. Out of nowhere, when they would be riding on a turtle's back, Sonic would tackle Amy and Manic to the shell of the turtle, narrowly avoiding a straight key blast. When everyone would look, they would see some weird blue blob creature staring them down. Sonic would question who he is, but the creature wouldn't respond. Instead, the creature would stretch its limbs out and try to grab Sonic and Amy, who managed to dodge and get out of the way. Wasting no more time, Sonic transformed into his super form and used the Kaioken. He then told Amy to protect Manic before using his homing shot and launching at the creature. Amy got Manic to safety and told him to stay put, while her and Sonic handled whatever this blob thing is. She then transformed into her super form and flew back towards Sonic. The creature started swiping at the yellow hedgehog, who managed to dodge it and deliver a counter. Sonic spun into a ball and nailed the creature, bouncing off, only for Amy to fly right behind him and use her hammer to launch him back at the creature. They kept this up long enough for Knuckles to arrive on the scene. When he did, he saw the pair fighting and launched a few key spheres at whatever it was. Sonic noticed and uncurled, greeting Knuckles, letting him know that this weird thing attacked him. Knuckles told Sonic that the creature's name is Chaos, and it not only attacked him, but it also attacked Raditz. They each got ready, with Knuckles transforming into a super form. Chaos glared at everyone, then set his sight on Sonic. Sonic pulled out the Chaos Emerald and charged his energy, dropping the Kaioken and getting in his fighting stance. Knuckles flew toward Chaos first and started throwing punches, nailing Chaos with each blow. Seeing as the thing was similar to food, they figured that the best way to kill it was to engulf it in a single blow. He then backed off as Amy and Sonic flew in behind him and began unleashing a combined meteor combination. Knuckles told them to hold Chaos off while he readied a Spirit Bomb. He then flew high up and raised his arms, focusing hard. Chaos completely ignored Amy and went for Sonic specifically, which everyone found odd. When Chaos would swing at Sonic, he would dodge, only to be then grabbed by Chaos. Amy, seeing this, would come in for a roundhouse kick, only to be met with a separate appendage that Chaos sprouted from his back. He then snatched the Chaos Emerald off Sonic, then used him to knock Amy away. Though it wasn't ready, Knuckles saw the Emerald in Chaos' clutches and threw the Spirit Bomb. Chaos absorbed the Emerald and began transforming. It looked like that now he had more of a bone-like structure in his body. Chaos 1 caught the Spirit Bomb, then threw it back at Knuckles, who dodged, wondering what the hell happened. Chaos 1 then looked around before turning itself back into a puddle and dropping into the ocean below. Sonic yelled that it took the Chaos Emerald off him and that they need to go after it. Knuckles, however, decided against it. He has a hunch, and if it's right, then their best course of action is to head back to Capsule Corp. Sonic flew to where Manic was watching and grabbed him before using instant transmission to get to Capsule Corp. Once they were at Capsule Corp, Sonic filled everyone in on what happened, to which Knuckles asked Raditz if he had a Chaos Emerald on him while fighting Chaos. Raditz nodded and pulled out the red Chaos Emerald. He said sometime after he was revived by the Dragon Balls, Ranch had found it and he's held on to it since then. He's kept it on his person just in case. Knuckles then looked at Goku and asked if Chaos seemed off when they fought. Goku then nodded and said that the whole time they fought, Chaos seemed to only be going after Raditz. It's like he wasn't there at all. Knuckles gasped, so that's it. His hunch was right. Chaos is only hunting down the emeralds. He asked where are the other emeralds, to which they all shrugged. To their knowledge, there's one at Gun Headquarters, 2 at Capsule Corp, and Chaos has 1 in his possession. The remaining 3 locations are unknown, and odds are, Chaos can sense the emerald seeing as he knew where to find Raditz and Sonic. Just like with the Metal Sonic incident, everyone was given an emerald radar, but to their shock, only 6 emeralds are coming up, meaning that once Chaos absorbs an emerald, he somehow can block the signal. Though at this moment, someone was missing. Sonic asked where Krillin was, but no one knew. Turns out, after the Boo incident, Krillin vanished off the face of the planet without a trace, and no one knew where he was. Without any time to waste, everyone broke off into teams, but figured some should stay behind in case Chaos decides to storm Gun or Capsule Corp. Sonic takes Raditz, Vegeta takes Knuckles, Goku takes Shadow. Amy opts to stay behind, but the kids say they want to help. Everyone's against it, but they say since they are also strong, and given how they managed to keep Boo busy before Nazo got involved, they got this. Not to mention, they've all kept up with their training. Everyone now is hesitant at first, but Vegeta and Raditz say to let him go. With that, Goku and Shadow choose to stay behind and give the kids an emerald radar. Shadow gets in contact with other Shadow and lets him know the situation. When Sonic and Raditz arrive in the Arctic, they manage to find the emerald in relatively little to no time. Without wasting any more, they instant transmit back to Capsule Corp. Vegeta and Knuckles end up in large canyons where the radar managed to pick up the Emerald signature. As they got close to where the Emerald was located, the radar lost its signal. Quickly, they flew faster and saw that Chaos 1 was starting to transform again. Vegeta yelled that he's had enough and ready to Big Bang attack. Knuckles told him to hold on since Chaos 2 is much stronger now, but Vegeta told Knuckles to back off. Like hell he's gonna wait for this blob to finish transforming. He shot off the Big Bang attack, and it looked like it connected with Chaos 2. To ensure he could deal as much damage to Chaos 2 as possible, Vegeta unleashed a barrage of Ki Blasts. However, when he and Knuckles waited to see if he damaged Chaos 2, they were shocked to find out that the creature had placed a protective barrier around itself. Chaos 2 looked up toward Vegeta and narrowed its eyes and started to bubble. Both fighters wondered what he was doing until his body started to grow bigger and bigger. Before they could get a big enough distance, Chaos 2 blew himself up, catching both Z fighters in the blast and launching them into nearby rocks. Seeing as there were no more Chaos Emeralds in the vicinity, Chaos 2 set his sights on the closest Chaos Emerald and flew away. As the kids were making their way to the Emerald location, they found themselves in a village upon a mountainside with lots of windmills. The Chaos Emerald was close to their position, and once they found it atop one of the windmills, they quickly went for it. As Goten went to pick up the Chaos Emerald, Ranch appeared behind him and deflected a Ki Blast headed straight for him. Chaos 2 had just arrived on the scene and set his sights on the new Emerald. Trunks told Goten to get out of here with the Emerald while he, Ranch, Manix, and Silver take care of Chaos 2. Goten wasted no time and flew off, leaving the 4 there. Chaos 2 looked at all of them, then formed back into a puddle, splitting himself into 4 other parts. Now the playing field was even. 5 Chaos 2s for 5 children. Everyone still present except Silver wasted no time in transforming into their super forms and getting ready for a brawl. Manix said that all they had to do was keep him away from Goten long enough for him to get away. The Chaos 2s went in and started swiping at the kids, with one flying toward Goten. Silver saw him and managed to kick the Chaos 2 he was fighting away before using his psychokinesis to grab the Chaos trying to fly away, then slammed him into the ground. The Chaos 2 fighting Trunks blocked a punch, then grabbed his leg to hold him long enough to then throw a Ki Blast at Goten, who managed to block it in time but dropped the Emerald. All the Chaos 2s then turned into puddles, racing toward where the Emerald was dropped. Manic yelled for everyone to keep the Chaos 2s away from the Emerald before taking off running. Ranch nodded and flew high into the air, trying to keep track of her enemies, throwing Ki Blasts at the ground and buildings to cause enough obstacles to slow them down. Goten dive-bombed to the Emerald and grabbed it before it hit the ground. One of the Chaos 2s managed to get close enough to Goten and punched him, sending him into a building, causing the Emerald to drop into his hands. The Chaos 2 started to absorb it, but the Emerald was held in place while in his hands. Silver was holding the Emerald in place and he yelled for someone to grab it. Trunks flew in and fired a Gallet gun and blasted where the Emerald was in Chaos 2, launching it out of his body and onto the ground. Manic ran by and scooped up the Emerald, yelling, "Catch me if you can!" There were 2 Chaos puddles starting to close in on him, but they were hit directly by a Kamehameha and a double Sunday by Ranch and the now recovered Goten. Manic smirked and yelled for them all to get out of here. Silver, flying next to Manic, glanced behind him and gasped, telling Manic to keep running and to not look back. Trunks turned around and saw 10 more Chaos 2 clones chasing after Manic. Realizing that while Chaos 2s are only after the Emerald, there are going to be too many people caught in the crossfire. With quick thinking, Manic leapt high into the air, then went running down the mountainside, dodging and flipping over the multiple Ki Blasts heading straight for him. Silver told him to hand over the Emerald, but Manic said that he had an idea. Once he was close enough to the water side, he leapt off and began running on water. The Chaos clones dipped into the ocean blue and gave chase. Manic then asked if Silver could put a barrier around the Emerald, to which Silver nodded. Manic smirked then told Goten and Trunks to start throwing random Ki Blasts in the water. It didn't matter where, just so long as it was close enough to him without hitting him. They both nodded and began doing so, causing multiple large splashes to permeate the water. Underneath the surface, the Chaos clones couldn't get close enough to Manic due to the Ki Blasts. Manic then told Silver to put a barrier around the Emerald, then handed it to him. Silver grabbed the Emerald and formed a barrier of psychic energy, then started to fly away with it. Ranch realized what Manic was doing and flew with Manic to ensure that Silver had enough time to get away with the diversion. Once Silver was far enough with the Emerald, Manic transformed into a super form and flew high up with the others following him, and the Chaos clones taking the bait. They were surrounded, but there was a mutual understanding. For now, they think Manic has the Emerald still and are mostly going to target him. Manic began spin dashing in place, revving up his speed and surging his ki, then got ready, unleashing the Kaioken times 4. Goten prepared a Kamehameha, then Trunks alongside him with a Gallet gun. Ranch ready to double Sunday, and once Manic shot off at the first Chaos, everyone fired their beams. Time slowed almost to a crawl for the young hedgehog as he managed to kick and punch each of the clones faster than they could react. He then grabbed each of them and threw them into each other, forcing them to fuse back into one. He then started to form a full power Kamehameha with the others holding the now merged Chaos 2 in place, before letting him go once Manic blasted him. Chaos 2 put up another barrier, managing to defend against the oncoming attack. While Manic put everything he had in this attack, he heard what sounded like his father, motivating him and telling him not to give up, to put everything he had into this one attack. Sonic was right behind Manic in his Dark Spine form, unleashing his own Kamehameha, managing to crack Chaos 2's barrier, then shatter it completely and launch him into the water with a large explosion forming from it. Manic then informed his father on what was going on, but Sonic was way ahead of him. Silver was already safe back in Capsule Corp. He then grabbed the kids and used instant transmission to get to safety. Now Chaos is pissed. He only has 2 emeralds, and the others are in the possession of his enemies. He needs a plan, and fast. Thinking back to his fight against the kids, Chaos split into multiple versions of himself and started to launch an attack on multiple different cities simultaneously. Once the Z-Fighters sensed the destruction, they questioned what was going on. They knew Chaos could sense the other emeralds, so why was he destroying other places? That's when Shadow put it together. Chaos 2 was trying to bait them out and take them away from the emeralds they already have. If they took the bait, he would just come up here and take the emeralds they still have. Now they're left with a choice. Did they split up and have people fighting Chaos, which would mean less people at Capsule Corp to guard the emeralds? Or do they just sit back while Chaos destroys everything in his path? Deciding that the former is the best course of action, most of the Z-Fighters stay behind while Goku, Raditz, and Shadow go to Chaos hunting. At Gun HQ, the commander sends the whole headquarters on red alert as Chaos 2 has started to storm the base. Other Shadow, who I will refer to here on out as Agent Shadow, Agent Rouge, and E123 Omega, and the recently hired Krillin, yes, Krillin is a part of Gun now, I'll explain later, were deep in the base guarding the Chaos Emerald. They had been brought up to speed by Shadow about the happenings with Chaos. As Chaos starts to tear through the base effortlessly, he is intercepted by Omega, who starts trying to hold him back with suppressive machine gun fire. Rouge follows up by tossing bombs at the blob as well as delivering swift kicks and punches when possible. Agent Shadow would transform into a super form and Krillin would power up. Chaos 2 multiplies into more of himself and starts to push further into the base, making his way towards the vault where Gun is holding the Chaos Emerald. Krillin, using the Destructo Disc, tries slicing the creature to further hinder him, but any cuts made to Chaos just regenerate into more of himself. Agent Shadow uses Chaos Spears to blast Chaos back, but with more of them approaching, it doesn't seem like they have this in the bag. Almost as if on cue though, Sonic instant transmits in front of Krillin with Vegeta, both going into their super forms. Chaos glared at the new arrivals and tried to still push past them, the vault in full view. Back at Capsule Corp, Knuckles, Amy, and the kids are guarding the other emeralds when a single Chaos 2 shows up. All of them got ready for a fight as Chaos 2 wasted no time in trying to get the emerald. Knuckles used the super form, Amy used the Kaioken, and the children followed suit, simultaneously laying into him. The Chaos 2 formed into a puddle and slinked away toward a sewer cover, with Manic following him, only to be called back by Knuckles to not follow. Once Chaos 2 got into the sewer cover, he propped it open and went in. Knuckles let out a loud laugh, declaring that Chaos isn't getting the emeralds they have. Underneath them, however, Chaos 2 had a backup plan. He made his way into the sewer pipes and flowed through them and into Capsule Corp. Once inside, he would go for the emeralds but be kicked away by a familiar-looking robot telling him to back off. The new and improved Metallix stared down Chaos, who had managed to hold onto one of the emeralds and absorbed it. With 3 emeralds now absorbed, Chaos 2 began to change again, this time growing in size, gaining an additional set of eyes and arms. Metallix grabbed 2 of the other emeralds and called for Knuckles, who wasted no time punching through the walls and decking Chaos 3 across his face and sending him flying through more walls. Metallix turned and flew where Knuckles came from, but was grabbed by 2 of Chaos 3's arms and pulled back. When Chaos 2 evolved, so too did his other copies, each of them gaining the power and the extra set of eyes and arms. Any Chaos 3 clones that were attacking cities had backed off and formed into puddles, trying to get away, while at Gun, the Chaos Army had started to overrun everyone present, breaking into the vault and snatching the emerald. Once absorbed, Chaos 3 evolved again, this time losing the extra appendages and growing more aquatic features. Just like before, all Chaos 3 clones now evolve as well. With this, Chaos 4 now grows with more power. Arriving at Gun, Goku and Shadow flew in to assist, with Raditz heading to Capsule Corp, but Sonic yelled to them that it was all a setup, and that Chaos is more than likely at Capsule Corp trying to get the last 3 emeralds. On the lookout, Kami is telling Tikal what's going on, and she's very upset. She tells Kami that Chaos is angry, and he's taking it out on the world, because her old tribe attacked the Chow beings that Chaos protects. During an event that happened far back, her tribe was wiped out, with her sealing herself and Chaos in the Master Emerald. Kami states that he doesn't know what these Chow are, but what could have released both her and Chaos from the Master Emerald was Nazo. He had sapped negative energy from the Chaos Emeralds, and thanks to Gohan, also did the same to the Super Emeralds. Tikal begs for Kami not to kill Chaos, which Kami tells her that he'll try to get the Z Fighters to not kill him, but he doesn't know how they'll be able to manage that as he already has absorbed 4 of the 7 Chaos Emeralds. At Capsule Corp, Chaos 4 is swatting at Metallix and Amy, who are holding the last emeralds. The kids all surround Chaos 4 and start wailing on him. Chaos shrugged off their attacks and unleashed a shockwave, pushing them all back, then rushing at Amy, who used her hammer to knock him away. Metallix flew away with the emeralds, with Chaos splitting again and going after him, while the others stayed behind to get the other emerald off Amy. Kami appeared in Knuckles' head, telling him about Chaos and what Tikal said. Knuckles told Kami that at this point, they don't have a choice but to destroy Chaos. He has 4 emeralds absorbed, and at this point, getting in more will make it near impossible to beat him. Raditz had arrived and ready to Saturday crash, managing to nail Chaos 4 directly, allowing Amy to put more of a distance between her and the Blob. Once Shadow and Goku arrived, Raditz told them to go after Metallix while everyone present handles the one here. They can't afford to allow Chaos to absorb any more Chaos Emeralds. Goku nodded, before he and Shadow used their Emerald Radar to catch up to where Metallix and the pursuing Chaos were. While fighting against Chaos 4, Raditz commented that it seems he had no choice. He let out a loud yell as everyone present felt his power rising. His eyebrows disappeared and his hair started to grow longer. The energy and electricity crackled before there was an explosion of energy, as when everyone looked, Raditz had transformed into Super Saiyan 3. The kids were amazed while Knuckles and Amy were stunned. Raditz, without saying a word, flew toward Chaos and delivered a punch to the face before grabbing him by his tail fin and throwing him into a building. Before the Blob could recover, Raditz was already in front of him, punching him repeatedly, screaming how this thing would pay for attacking his daughter. Every time Chaos tried to block Raditz, he would fire a Plea Blast to destroy his arm and break his guard, then throw either a punch or a kick to the face. Sonic and Vegeta instant transmit on the sea, only to witness Raditz ripping Chaos 4 apart as best he could. Vegeta was stunned. What was that form Raditz was using? No way that a low-class Saiyan like that weakling managed to ascend Super Saiyan 2. Raditz was blinded by rage. Chaos had caused enough damage, he attacked his daughter, and is now putting everything he holds dear at stake. As a Saiyan, he doesn't know why he cared so much, but that doesn't matter. Chaos was going to die, and he was going to be one to send him to Otherworld, express ticket. While Metallix was being chased by Chaos, he started to use the power of the Emerald. Then, seeing Goku and Shadow tailing them, figured that now was the time to fight back. He entered his super form and yelled that he was going to crush Chaos. Goku entered Super Saiyan 2, and Shadow followed suit, going into his ascended super form with his inhibitor moves removed. They surrounded Chaos, and without blinking, each began attacking him, then switched to another to attack. Goku charging a Kamehameha, and Shadow firing Chaos Spears, Metallix flying in circles around Chaos and throwing Ki Blast when he loses track of him. Chaos tried putting up his barriers, but with the constant assault of Metallix and Shadow, the barrier wasn't holding. Finally, Goku unleashed his Kamehameha wave, scoring a direct hit on Chaos and sending him into the ground beneath them. Chaos slowly rose back up to the fighters and split into more copies before going after Metallix again. Shadow and Goku tried to help, but with more copies present, they had their own problems to deal with. Metallix looked at 3 Chaos spores surrounding him and started to fight them off, each of them failing to make contact with him. He taunted the creatures, then kicked one across the face before being grabbed by another. With quick thinking, he surged his energy, getting the hands off of him. Thankfully, he still had the 2 emeralds and saw that Shadow and Goku were managing to hold their own. The 3 Chaos Force surrounded him again, but he was ready. Each came at him one by one, allowing for the robot to take them out with ease and defend the emeralds. Then the 3 split into 6 and surrounded Metallix again. Shadow and Goku noticed and went to fly over, but they were surrounded by 3 Chaos of their own. Metallix tried his best to fend them off, but he started to get overrun and knocked around. One Chaos managed to knock an emerald and retrieve it, causing them all to evolve and grow in size and power. Chaos 4 began changing as he now had what looked to be a scorpion-like tail and sharper claws. Now with everyone present currently outclassed, the Chaos 5s were starting to thoroughly kick them around. Metalik, still trying his best to keep the last emerald he had away, was grabbed while another Chaos went to rip him in half, only to get shot away by a stray Ki Blast. Goku and Shadow knew it wasn't them, but to their shock, they saw Gohan flying in, already in Super Saiyan 2. The Half Saiyan was joined by Videl as they both delivered a simultaneous kick to a Chaos 5, then followed up with a Ki Blast to one fighting Shadow and one to Goku, giving both fighters the moment they need to break away. Shadow brought both of them up to speed, and they understood. Now it's time to take down Chaos. While Raditz is fighting Chaos 4, it starts evolving into Chaos 5. Everyone noticed and yelled for Raditz to come back, but he didn't care. While Chaos 5 was evolving, Raditz was still beating him into the ground, not letting him up for a second. Sonic and Knuckles made their way over to assist while Amy makes her way out of the area with the kids following and Vegeta staying behind. Once Chaos had finished evolving, it let out a roar, causing a shockwave and throwing everyone close by a distance away. It then duplicated itself with Raditz stating that no matter how much trash there is, it's still trash. He then fired off multiple double Sundays while yelling in rage. Sonic and Knuckles were a little worried. Raditz has never been like this before. Once Chaos 5 had finished duplicating, Raditz flew in for a clear opening before grabbing one by its arms and slamming it around, then throwing it out of the crater he had just made with the first Chaos 5, chasing after it and grabbing it by the head and bringing it down to the ground face first. Sonic transformed into his dark spine form and surrounded the crater, housing the Chaos 5s in it in a thick fire, then focused his time break on that area, holding them in place. He told Knuckles that he won't be able to hold them there for long. Knuckles understood, then started to form the Spirit Bomb, gathering as much energy as he could muster. The Chaos being pummeled by Raditz tried to fight back, but with the mad Super Saiyan not letting up, he was having a difficult time fighting back. Though it wasn't long before Raditz's attacks began to slow down and his muscles began to ache. He was starting to feel the strain of the transformation on his body, and once Chaos realized this, he had started to push back against Raditz. Vegeta noticed and delivered a punch to Chaos while in Super Saiyan 2. He then spun around and kicked Raditz away, stating that he didn't do half bad. Now it's his turn to take over. Raditz hit the ground on one knee and watched as the Prince began to attack the blob. While Knuckles was trying to get the Spirit Bomb ready, Raditz gave what energy he could, causing the Spirit Bomb to grow. Sonic looked like he was struggling to keep the time break up. Knuckles put everything he had into the Spirit Bomb, then threw it into the frozen Chaos 5s right as Sonic dropped concentration. It was a direct hit and pushed into the ground, causing the crater to deepen more before exploding. Vegeta grabbed Chaos by its face and used the Big Bang attack, sending him into the crater with the other now puddle Chaos 5s. With a cocky smirk, he crossed his arms and yelled for the two rats to back away from the crater, as now that Amy was a distance away and no Chaos had gotten past them, they don't have much to worry about. Just as the stupid blob gets up, be ready to attack. While the arrival of Gohan and Videl are welcome, there isn't much they can do. With Metalik surrounded and the Chaos 5s not giving him a chance to escape, there isn't much they can do but delay the inevitable. Gohan manages to deliver a series of punches and kicks to Chaos' body, then followed with a roundhouse to the head, sending it flying into one that Goku was fighting. Videl prepared a Kamehameha and fired it toward one attempting to fight Metalik. Metalik noticed that when Chaos got kicked across the face, his body started to react, like he temporarily lost energy and started to destabilize. While fighting and keeping the other Chaos off him, he starts to calculate something before stopping fighting and handing over the emerald. Everyone yelled as Chaos took the emerald from the robot and started to transform again, this time looking like a scorpion spider frog-like creature. It then landed to the water below and started to get away. Everyone present yelled at Metalik, who told them that Chaos temporarily destabilizes when struck in the head. He noticed it when Gohan kicked him. As he had been absorbing more and more emeralds, that weak spot has been becoming more and more of a hindrance. So much so that it will get to a point that they can destroy him once and for all. At the current moment, he'll just regenerate, but if he absorbs all of the emeralds and they hit him in his weak spot with all they got, it will put him down permanently. He has calculated all of the data and states that his plan has an 80% chance of success. The other 20 is reliant on if the others haven't already spent their energy. Their best option is to give Chaos the last emerald and take him down in one attack, like with Boo or Nazzo. When the smoke cleared, Chaos 6 had finished evolving and rose to meet everyone. Oh no! The others must have failed in stopping Chaos from getting the other emerald, which means they are the last line of defense. Getting ready for another round, everyone is shocked to see Amy coming back with the Chaos Emerald, and joined by Goku and the others. They tell her to make herself scarce, but Metalix explains to everyone what's going on. While Raditz may be on board, Sonic, Knuckles, and Vegeta aren't. They don't want to take the risk and tell the rest that they won't let them hand over the last emerald to Chaos. The alien blob watched as Sonic, Knuckles, and Vegeta turned to face Goku, Gohan, Amy, Videl, Shadow, and Metalix. They each got in their fighting stances. Sonic pleaded for them not to do this, but it was clear that everyone's minds were already made up. Gohan flew to knock Knuckles away, but he caught his fist and countered with a right hook across the face, then a gut punch before being knocked away by a spin-dashing Sonic. Shadow and Metalix rushed the Dark Spine Hedgehog, spin-dashing into them, each of them bouncing off one another. Shadow uncurled and used Chaos Control, while Sonic used Time Break, freezing Shadow and Metalix in place. As he went in to attack them, he was hit away by Amy's hammer. They stared each other down before Sonic told her not to do this. She charged her energy and stared her husband down, telling him not to make her do this. Goku went to get between them, but Sonic flew toward him and gut-checked him, then spun around and kicked him away, then raced for Amy. Both locked hands, each one trying to overpower the other. Manic watching in horror as Amy and Sonic trade punches and kicks, Amy grabbing Sonic and throwing him into the ground, then slamming her hammer down on his body. He then brought his legs together, then kicked her high into the air before flying up and throwing a barrage of punches and kicks, sending the resulting energy attacks into her directly. When she would fall towards him, he would ready an energy-packed gut punch, but before he would throw it, he stopped. This was Amy, the mother of his child, and they were attacking each other in front of Manic. Sonic would catch her and depower himself, then lower to the ground. Amy looked badly hurt, and it was his fault. The others were fighting, but stopped once they saw this. Sonic took the emerald off of Amy, then looked to Metalix, saying that he better be right about this. He gave Amy a ring, then flew up, but stopped. They can't let Chaos get the last emerald here, in the middle of the city, at Capsule World. They need to take this elsewhere. Sonic told Chaos to follow him, then looked to the kids and told them to stay here and watch Amy. With that, he flew away towards some islands to the east, far away from civilization. Once he was sure there were no people or innocent lives nearby, Sonic, joined by the others, lowered to one of the islands, with Chaos standing in front of him. Sonic looked at the yellow Chaos Emerald in his hand, then balled his fist around it and punched it into Chaos before releasing the emerald. Chaos would begin to morph and transform, growing larger and larger in size. Finally, Chaos had achieved perfection. Perfect Chaos. Perfect Chaos stared them all down and opened its mouth to fire a beam. Sonic, telling everyone heads up, transformed into his super form and flew up with everyone. Just like Metalix had stated, in Chaos's head there was what looked to be a brain of sorts, his weak spot. Now all they had to do was deal enough damage to it. Videl gasped as she pointed to the ground. It was the Chaos Emeralds, but they were all gray. Quickly, Shadow collected the emeralds and brought them to everyone. Their power was faint, but there was definitely something in there. Metalix told everyone the plan. They just need to hit the weak spot enough, and Chaos should be toast. Goku proposed the trick he and Sonic pulled against Raditz. Have one person use their power in one swoop to attack Chaos. Gohan volunteers, but Raditz interjects, saying that considering that because of Super Saiyan 3, he would be the strongest here, they can't afford to turn the Chaos Emeralds into Super Emeralds just in case that might power up Chaos like he did Nazem. He told them to leave this to him and just give him their energy. Chaos roared and started shooting out beams left and right, while Raditz used the power of the emeralds to not only power himself back to full, but supercharge Super Saiyan 3. He flew at Perfect Chaos and started trying to attack the head, but was knocked away. Once he stabilized himself, Sonic and the rest, now joined by the incoming Amy, Kids, Agent Shadow, and Krillin, joined them. They all charged their energy and started to share it with Raditz. Chaos noticed this and readied another beam. Shoot! Somebody needs to distract him before he blasts all of them. Quickly, Vegeta, Shadow, and Sonic flew in, taking swings at Chaos to get his attention. Sonic was first, as he managed to get in a few hits before being swatted away by a tentacle. Shadow was next, and threw some Chaos Spears at the face of the behemoth before he too was grabbed and flung away. Lastly, Vegeta readied a final flash and hit Perfect Chaos in the body, then flew into him and up, traveling to his head and managing to land a solid punch on the brain. Chaos swung his head around and flung Vegeta out. The distraction worked. Raditz was almost ready, but Chaos started to ready another beam. Amy, Goku, and Metalix were next. Goku fired off multiple Kamehameha waves, putting holes in Chaos, then leapt back as to not get hit. Metalix rolled into a ball, and Amy launched the robot into chaos with her hammer. Metalix, just like Vegeta, traveled through the body, traveling up to his head and nailing the brain. He flew out of the mouth and joined back up with Amy and Goku. Raditz let out a loud yell as he was now at full power. He rocketed toward Chaos and flew into his mouth and began punching his brain, not giving him a chance to get the anger Saiyan out. Raditz delivered punch after punch, kick after kick as Perfect Chaos started to further destabilize. To finish the job, Raditz readied his signature double Sunday, point blank, and put everything he had into it. Just before he fired it off, Kami appeared in his head. The old Namekian told Raditz that right now he has a choice. He could neutralize Chaos permanently, and wipe him off the face of the planet, or he could use the emeralds to pacify him. Raditz doesn't understand, but Kami explains. The emerald's power react to one's emotion. Just like Nazo, Chaos only took the negative energy from the emeralds, but Raditz took the positive. He tells him that Tikal asks him to please spare Chaos. In a split-second decision, Raditz lets out a loud yell and unleashes everything he has into this double Sunday. The beam piercing through Perfect Chaos. The resulting energy takes everything he has out of him, and he reverts back to normal, and slowly lowers to the ground. Perfect Chaos starts to glow yellow from the inside out and combusts as it starts to rain. Everyone looks on as where Raditz landed, Chaos Zero was standing there. The luster and shine returned to the emeralds as Raditz looked at Chaos. You attacked my daughter, you hurt my friends, and turned us against each other. As much as I wanted to end your existence, I know that that wouldn't be the right thing to do. You were hurting and wanted revenge. To be honest, you're a lot like us Saiyans years ago. Frieza enslaved us, destroyed our planet, made us do things that, looking back on, I am not proud of. We wanted revenge, and we were willing to do whatever, hurt whoever. He looked at Goku, then to Gohan, then Sonic. Each of us were given the chance to be better, to do better. I'm willing to give you that chance. Don't throw it away. As he said that, he looked to see Ranch flying into him, her giving him a loving hug, tears in her eyes. Sonic apologizing to Amy for the fight, and Manich watching from a distance. Knuckles went to Chaos and asked him about Tikal. While he can't understand him, it's clear that hearing her name warranted some form of reaction from him. Knuckles tells him that he can take him to Tikal. He calls over Sonic and asks if they can head to the lookout. Sonic nodded and had Knuckles, Chaos, Amy, Manic, and Shadow come along, using instant transmission to lock onto Kami and taking the emeralds with them. Goku and Goten head back home, seeing as everything here is done, while Vegeta, Silver, and Trunks head back to Capsule Corp. Agent Shadow and Krillin return to Gun. Once at the lookout, Chaos reunites with Tikal, and once she sees Sonic and Shadow, she gasps. At first they don't know why, but once she speaks, they hear her voice. Sonic and Shadow state that during the Nazo fight, they heard Tikal talking to them before they fused. They still don't know how, but they are certain that it's her. They bring the Chaos Emeralds to the Master Emerald Shrine and place them on their pedestals and give a collective sigh. Today has been a very long day, and they would like to get back to, well, whatever it was they were doing prior to Chaos attacking. Hey all, Hypershatic46 here, and I know I sound a lot different than how I do on the video, and that's because I'm recording this on a different day when I'm not sick. Yeah, through the entirety of the video, I was sick as hell. I had gotten sick about a week and a half to 2 weeks prior to me recording the entirety of this video. And then, wouldn't you know it, like, after I had just got better, not even 5 days later, I had gotten sick again. Now, it wasn't as bad as the first one, because, trust me, one of the main reasons why this video did not get recorded immediately after I finished writing the entirety of the script and reading it over enough times where I could practically almost have it memorized, my voice was shot. I mean, I couldn't, at the current decibel I am speaking now, and they'll probably sound different when I'm editing, but at the current point of how I'm talking now, my sick voice could not reach this. Like, I could not speak worth a damn. So, that's kind of one of the things that got in the way of me recording this. But, you know, hey, it's here now. And also, editing the video and watching it back just to make sure if there was anything I missed to put renders or effects anywhere I just realized that I never explained why Krillin joined Gun, so I guess I'm explaining it here in the outro, so just to quickly dabble on that a bit. The main reason why I feel that Krillin would be a part of Gun is that in canon, he joined the police, for starters, because, you know, money is tight. So, you know, knowing the fact that he does also have, you know, Agent Shadow, who is a very good gun agent and, you know, could put in a good word for him, I feel like in that regard, Krillin would be better off joining Gun. I mean, hey, Gun pays well, last I checked. I mean, look, if Shadow can put aside his differences in SA2 and then in 06 start saying, you know what, I think I'm going to work for these guys who kind of caused me hell my entire life. You know, I think Krillin could set aside his differences to work for Gun. But otherwise, yeah, no, that's just getting all of that out of the way now. And again, sorry this took so long to get out. Even then, throughout writing this script, I had gotten severe writer's block. Just like with, part 3 of my What If, I had things ending a lot differently in my head, and then applying it to the script, it's like, wait a second, some things here doesn't make sense. Like, honest to God, I really thought that, man, I really can't write chaos coming in and causing trouble, because if everyone is at the level of, you know, Super Saiyan 2 or even Super Saiyan 3 in Raditz's case, it's like, well, damn. And not to mention, you know, the part previous, you know, we brought in the idea of fusions because we brought in Vegito and Shattuck, and it's like, well, couldn't they just, you know, fuse together to create those fusions again and, you know, wail on wail on Chaos? And it's like, well, yeah, but the issue here is, you know, how far could that one go? Because then at that point, there really would be no point in writing a part. It's sort of like how when I wrote the Metarex Saga. Like, I'm gonna be real, the Metarex Saga really was just supposed to be filler. I was supposed to be just a gag, but then when I kind of elaborated on it, it just kind of grew into more, and I was like, you know what? Let's make this an actual part. I am establishing the Metarex into lore. So, yeah, just so much stuff got in the way of this, and again, most of it being because I was sick, because like, trust me, immediately after I finished writing the script, I wanted to get right on to editing, but not editing, but recording, and it's like, so funny thing, you're kind of sick, like, really, really sick, so yeah, that's where most of, like, the time after the new year came, so yeah, but hey, again, thankfully, I got everything edited, it's all here. Next time, we are jumping straight into Battle of Gods. I know I hinted after the part previous that, oh yeah, there'd be a lot of chaos in this, but no beating around the bush, no like, ooh-hee, I'm gonna be a little funny. No. We're jumping straight into the Battle of Gods arc. Next time we come back, Beerus is coming to Earth, and we're gonna see how everything turns out. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, I'm HyperShatic46. Keep a lookout for the 7 Chaos Emeralds. Chaos, control that like button. Subscribe today and join the Chaos Army. Well, not the Chaos Army that was attacking Gun headquarters. Though that kind of would be funny, but no. Subscribe today and join the Chaos Army. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Stay beautiful, stay frosty. I love you all. Thank you so much for sticking with me throughout all this time. I know it's been a long wait for all of these parts to come out, and I'm going to try to get them out a lot quicker while still keeping the same, you know, good quality, or at least I hope they're good quality in your guys' eyes, but I'm going to try my best to keep that same good quality, and I will see you all next time. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a good one.